So first of all, I would like to welcome you to our webinar, and of course, good morning, good afternoon, or even good evening to you, based on when you are exactly located. So welcome to our webinar about crime investigation in prison environments. In the beginning, let me briefly tell you about today. So together with my colleague Pavel, we will guide you through our experience in implementing our Argos platform within the prison environment. I will go through a couple of slides to introduce the topic and Argos as a platform, and Pavel afterwards will do live demonstration of the platform and show you some use cases that we have implemented for our customers. You can use Slido during the whole webinar to ask questions based on our pace. Together with Pavel, we should have around 5 to 10 minutes to answer questions that you are going to ask. So feel free to place any question that you have already now, or even during the webinar that will pop up in your mind. So yeah, I hope you are able to see the number that you need to enter in slido.com. So now let's start. Let's start with the webinar. I will start by introducing today's speakers. So my colleague Pavel is a seasoned sales guy and consultant with years and years of experience in delivering projects worldwide for the government, but also for a private sector. So with all his experience and knowledge, we are able to consult our customers. We speak the language of our customers. And I'm Thomas. I'm CSO at Cogniware. For more than 7 years in Cogniware, I was responsible for heading the delivery, and I was also acting as a consultant and analyst on our implementation projects. So I also do speak the language of our customers, and I really love it. Now, briefly about the company, for those who don't know Cogniware. So Cogniware is a European company from Czech Republic. We were founded in 2014, so 12 years in the market. Majority of the time, we are delivering projects for security forces like the law enforcement, intelligence, or the army, including, of course, prison guards or prison system customers. Based on that, I would say long history. We have built our knowledge and experience in the field, and based on that, we have created our own solution that is called Argos, and that's going to be the main topic of today. And based on understanding of the domains, we have created specific solutions for different customers, for different sectors, for law enforcement, for intelligence. And one of them is definitely for the prison guards. Since we were previously services-oriented company, we still do have the ability to provide end-to-end projects for you, and we have the ability to do consultancy for you before, during, and after the project. And that's something that we are really interested in, that a customer for us is not just the number that we are communicating with and invoicing to, but we are in deep cooperation and deep discussion, and we are aiming to build relationship with all our partners, all our customers, so we pretty good understand what exactly are your needs and your pain points, I would say. Now, coming to, let's say, definition of the issue as we know it, as we understand it, I'm helping myself with a report from UNODC here on this slide. So specifically here, we are talking about like 3 main topics that the prison system is facing when we are talking that there are issues. So first of all, these numbers that I'm presenting here are completely something alarming. So imagine that there is 12 million people worldwide now imprisoned. And it's not that only they are imprisoned, this like in 2024, end of 24, based on the report, but this number is growing, and it's growing every year. Luckily, it's not growing exponentially, not even linearly, but still it's growing. And right now, the situation is that in past 25 years, it went, up by 25%. That means it's growing a lot. Of course, majority of people arrested and imprisoned are men, but still 7% of people that are in prison are women. The issue that our customers are facing, or issues that our customers are facing, it's increased violence. And by violence, you may understand that it's physical violence. It's somehow violence that is coming from the sex perspective. There is a lot of illicit activities regarding smuggling of drugs or any other illegal contraband. There is a lot of suicide attempts. There is a lot of murder attempts. So all this, it's bringing quite a lot of pressure on the staff, on prison guards. Not mentioning that even within the prison there are gangs, or prisons. There are gangs that are formed, that are managing the internal business, smuggling stuff and extortion and everything. And of course, what is, I would say, some cooperation between the prison guards and the outside world is that you are usually helping or supporting police or even intelligence in their investigations. So whatever is happening inside the prison walls, it's somehow having impact on the outside world, and it's something that needs to be handled properly. And I would say, last but not least, the issue that we are facing, or our customers are facing, it's the staff issue. So first of all, they are understaffed. That means there is not enough people to cover all the stuff that needs to be done. And also there is huge fluctuation. That means you have somebody there for 5-10 years. He knows all the stuff, how it's going. He knows all the inmates, and then he is leaving. So and all this information is living with him. So it's a lot of experience and knowledge that you are somehow losing because somebody is leaving, the prison guard service. So all these issues eventually are forming quite huge issue that we can solve. I'm not saying in total that would be completely a huge bragging, but we can solve partially issues that eventually can help you to do your job, let's say, with less issues, with less problems. How we are doing that? Of course, we have our own platform that is called Argos, and that's the topic of today. And with Argos, what we are doing is that we are giving you the benefit, the power of your information in one place. What does it mean? It means that we are taking your structured and unstructured data. By structured, I mean all your databases, all your Excel sheets, CSV files, all your logs from let's say telephony systems, all your information coming from the internal purchases, etc., and combine it with the CCTV feeds and images and photos when the intake is happening, and you are taking photos of tattoos and scars and everything, and we combine it, in one platform, and we connect all the information together, so you can benefit from all the information that is combined and it's connected together. We are calling it that we are unlocking the data or unlocking the information. And by unlocking, we are saying that you have definitely separate systems. We call it isolated silos. That means you are entering some database, you are entering some CCTV system, you are entering some some document management systems to see, some reports and some documents. But in Argos, you have it all combined together, and it's not only combined together or matched together, but it's matched in context. That means all information about Pavel coming from all the databases and documents and videos using facial recognition. It's everything in one place. And Argos is also helping you to do quite a lot of stuff proactively. That means it's building, its own knowledge base based on the input data. So you are notified, you are knowledgeable about stuff that is already happening when it is happening. So it's not just that we are bringing the data into one place, but we are doing quite a lot of stuff on top of that. So in order to utilize the data properly, after we collect it, after we process it using AI and using whatever other means of processing, you are afterwards working with the system, with the data. So we have 4 different points of view, and Pavel will be guiding you through that in a deep dive, in a live demo. We are providing 4 dimensions where you are looking at the data from the perspective of relationships. So you have an inmate that is located at some prison cell, and he has also somebody else in that prison cell. And this inmate is going to some court hearing, or he is working at some jail workplace. He is buying some stuff. He's having calls or incoming visitors. So all this is forming, a huge pile of connected information. And for such, we are using the link analysis. When we are talking about people traveling around, of course, when you are in prison, you are not free to go around, the country or the city itself. Yet you are going to the court, you are going to hospital, you are going to workplace. So also all these points of view from the geo perspective, where exactly you were located in that time, specific time, it is really, really important to understand. Multimedia nowadays, it's containing a lot of information. When we are talking about the prison itself, we are talking especially the phone calls, especially the CCTV cameras, especially tattoos, scars, but it can be any other multimedia content that you can imagine. And last but not least, the so-called pattern of life. So we understand how you are living your life inside the prison, how you are spending your money, how you are receiving or having calls, how you are receiving visitors, receiving packages, and or sending letters. And all this is forming, again, some deep understanding of what exactly the inmate is doing. Now, talking about our experience in prison, yes, the experience is vast. The experience is very good, even that every project is a bit hectic. Every project is a bit complicated because usually we are facing issues with legacy systems, with processes that are based a lot on paper documents and paper-based processes. So all this is somehow forming the problem at the beginning, or let's not call it problem, let's call it a challenge. And we need to understand what exactly you are doing, how you are doing that, in order to somehow change it for you using Argos in a way that is going to be beneficial for you. So definitely we are covering some proactive use cases and some reactive use cases, and all of that is based on all the data that we are consuming and processing and storing together. What is important to mention is that when you are doing your usual job, you are seeing stuff that is completely obvious, like I see Pavel right now here on this call, but I also see, because you are experienced people, you see also the underlying layers, because you have the experience. You see that Pavel is having, some issues with Mike that is, in the next cell, because they had some discussion or fight whatsoever. This is the experience, the knowledge that you have in your mind. This is also something that Argos is creating for you. That means we are collecting and connecting all the dots together, so you are not missing all these non-trivial I see Pavel. That's the trivial, connection or information, but you can see also this non-trivial information very, very easily. And with the pattern of life, you can understand that some behavior, some life of the inmate, it's changing, and you can then try to investigate why. I mentioned data collection a couple of times. So of course, this is something that is crucial. We are working with your data. That means we are not bringing any data to you, to your system, but we are completely utilizing all the data sources that you can provide. I was talking about databases as the structured data or Excel sheets or CSV files, JSONs, API calls, whatever. But we are also talking about documents and multimedia files like images, audios, and videos. And we are also talking about the transactional logs, about calls and money transfers. So all this information eventually needs to be collected. When we are collecting all the information, the next step that we are doing is the processing. And here the AI, comes in place to do, a lot of magic and to do a lot of manual labor that you I would say usually do. That means it's reading the document for you, or documents. It's watching the CCTV feed. It's going through images of photos, of tattoos and everything, and it is extracting the key information, on your behalf. That means we take all the reports and we extract entities, and we try to identify whether Pavel is the Pavel that we have in the database, or it's somebody else. It's called the entity or identity resolution. We are definitely trying to use facial recognition and voice biometry to pinpoint people in CCTV feeds and of course in phone calls. Regarding the phone call, of course, not the outside world people. For such, we don't have the biometry. So all this processing eventually it's shrinking the need of your work. That means it's reading, it's processing, it's seeing, and extracting all the key information. So you don't need to read, you don't need to watch, you don't need to listen. So for example, we can do speech to text transcript. So you don't need to listen to all the recordings of the calls. So Pavel created just really nice and amazing slide. This is going to be here just for 10 seconds for those who are more interested into technical details, how Argos works and collects data from different types of data sources, not necessarily, of course, only related to the prison use case. We are more than happy to discuss with you. Anyway, the whole idea is you have data sources, we fetch it, we enrich it using AI, and we provide it to you to do your magic, to enhance your work with let's say better insights. Eventually, what is happening? We are storing all the data in a graphed way. That means you have your inmates that are connected together to a prison cell, to some lawyers, to some addresses where they were located because of some court hearing, or they visited hospital because of some treatment, or they have some close person that are visiting them, or even your finding or your knowledge that such inmate is a part of some criminal group, and based on this information you can try to do your link analysis work. But I will leave this to Pavel to showcase all the stuff in more detail, and especially live. As I was saying at the beginning, you can place any question using Slido, and we will be really happy to answer your questions right away. So now let's talk about some situations that we were solving. We were focusing on 4 specific situations. I think Pavel will be maybe showing you more stuff, but I'm going to be focusing on 4 most important that at least I find very important. So the first of all, it's the dangerous placement of prisoners. So it is something that I personally call a proactive use case. So the system is helping you to understand whether somebody that it's a part of some intake process, it's if it's possible to place him into some specific prison facility or prison building or sector or even cell. So what we are doing, we have all the information about his previous stays in within the prison. We are of course not talking about new guy that has never been in prison. We are talking especially about criminals that are returning to the prison, and for such occasions we are able to tell you, no, don't place Pavel into this specific prison facility, because there was a fight between Pavel and Thomas. So it may be that this prison facility has multiple buildings. So it may be that the system will tell you, yes, it was in this specific prison facility. So maybe it's going to be some of your decision that, okay, it's not going to be the prison facility, or it's going to be the prison facility, but not definitely the building where Thomas is located. So this is something that it's proactively, it's telling you during the intake process, don't do this. And why it is telling you, such information? Because if you place somebody, put him in a building or in a sector, block, whatever, prison cell, with somebody that previously he had some, or she had some quarrels, some fights, most probably it will happen again. And if it is happening, you have to dispatch your units. They can get hurt, of course. Inmates can get hurt, and it is something that you want to prevent. So all this is happening during the processing of the intake of a new guy. The second one is the understanding of pattern of life. So here we are talking, let's say, a bit about deep dive that can help you to understand what is happening with somebody. And it may be that you have some information from the outside world, or you have the information inside about some prison gang. You can be having information about some individual, and all this eventually it's giving you some hypothesis, some question like, is there anything happening with Pavel regarding his family, his money transfers, etc., etc. So one of the examples that we were solving with the pattern of life was that a prison gang was extorting people by forcing them to buy goods from the canteen. So that means you have your internal bank account, your card that you are paying in the canteen, and of course you have your limitations. So in order to make your life better, you are forcing somebody to do additional purchases using their credit cards. So all this is something that it's helping you to understand what is happening when it comes to such payments or some visits or some phone calls. When we are talking about the geo information and the stuff related to maps, we are talking about transfers between facilities, visiting courts, visiting hospitals, and these are the places where you can identify different points where two prisoners or inmates from two different prison facilities can meet. And the biometry, it's something that is helping a lot, definitely during the call, where you can easily identify that there are people switching. That means you have your allowed 10 numbers that you can call to. One of them is your mother, and of course, when the call starts, we identify, yes, there is a lady. and then suddenly it's a man on the other side of the line. So we can give you some alert that something is happening, and that you should take care of, or at least try to understand whether it is a family. Of course, if you are calling your wife and your kids are there, it's gonna be a change. So you may get some false positives, but the rest, it's something that you should definitely investigate. Again, Pavel will be showing you some live demonstration in a while. Regarding benefits, of course, benefits can be defined from different angles. So one of the angle, it's our point of view, is definitely the end user. Based on our experience, end users are really praising Argos because it's helping them to be much faster, much more precise when searching for information and trying to find answers to their questions. And it's also important that they are able to understand the complexity of the data in one place. That means when we combine all the bits and pieces of information, so you see for Power all the stuff in one place, and you don't need to access multiple systems. And based on our experience, we are trying to develop Argos in a way that non-technical users can use that. So it's more of clicking, more of visualization, less writing some specialized crazy queries. Regarding the management, of course, we are always talking about some benefits for management and some TCOs and RTOs and everything. So here we are talking about savings when it comes to the total cost of ownership, because we are using data from multiple systems. So we are saving your time, we are saving your expenses, and the team will have definitely better performance. Of course, talking about our experience, it may be different with each one of you. And what is really important is that all the information that we combine together with additional knowledge and understanding that your people are entering in Argos, it's being preserved within the organization. That means we are not, or people that are leaving are not bringing all the information with them. There is a lot of stuff still remaining in the organization, and this knowledge can be utilized with new people that will be hired. Last slide. Of course, prison analytics is just one of the use cases that we can be serving using Argos. There is a lot of AI that can be utilized also for other use cases. And as I was saying, we are not just the vendor of the software. We are also having really strong and experienced delivery arm that is providing a lot of consultancy for our customers before the project, during and after the project. Feel free to send any questions on Slido, and now I will leave it for Pavel to do his live demonstration of Argos. So Pavel, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Tomasz, and please give me a second till I start to share the screen. Okay, I guess you can see my screen, hopefully. Yeah, okay, and also please let me turn off the camera, because you're gonna see way much nicer things on the screen, and still there will be my face, because to prepare the demo we are using the demo data. So not to blame anybody, I have decided to place me in a position of a very dangerous guys with a lot of experiences in a prison system. So I would like to show you how are we using the Argos in a real situations where we are trying to find a way how to uncover the hidden data. At the beginning, let me just briefly show you the first overview, and then I will focus on a specific use cases that Tomasz has mentioned. So usually the investigation is related to some object, which might be a person, it might be a phone number or an account or whatever, and I will start to show you how does it work with in Argos. Let's imagine we have a prisoner here, and Argos is able to show you the details. We can show you even the predefined dashboard, which might be focused based on your background. So that means, yes, we can show the dashboard for which contains all the summary informations for the users, which are very easy to access in a predefined view. But when focusing on the prison analytics, the system is able to show you directly the information related to prison. So, for example, here what you can see is that you can very quickly check the information about the persons that were in the same cell, which gives you the detailed info, and I will get to this later to show you the info. So you can see the persons and appearances, but it can even show you the information about the security records and other features that are very easy to customize and can be used for visualizing. So it's not just the detailed information, it's also information about the occurrence. So if you're analyzing a person, you can see directly where does he appears. So if he appears in some notes, in some cases, or some images, so it is easy to see where does the person appears. And when analyzing the person, it's important to see its connections. Here in this Argos instance, we have all the informations, but I would like to focus especially on information regarding the prison. So let me check security records, or we can check restrictions of freedom, where I'm able to see the informations about the prisoner, and I would like to visualize the informations about his restrictions of freedom. So I can very easily find out any kind of info. But this would be pretty simple, okay? This will just show you the directly connected informations about him, maybe about his credit card that Tomasz mentioned that he's using for inside the prisons world. But I would like to see also maybe more distant relations. So I would like to find out information about everything is related to inmate. For example, was he involved in some fighting? And yes, I can see even the details of the finding. And again, here on the right side, you can see directly the info you selected, okay? However, I would like to have a complex overview of the person and understand everything, so I can simply click on selected and I'm able to see the visualization of what I'm interested about the person. I will later on show you even the info how I can utilize this information and analyze them in some investigation board. So first thing is the connections. Also, as Tomasz mentioned, we are able to visualize the activities of the locations. So I can see where does the person is moving according to what kind of data source I have. But what I can do is even I can create and customize my own view on the location data. So for example, I'm able to prepare a very simple view on the data, which is showing me the placement of the prisoner's locations, which is giving me the info where I can see where does the person has been located. I can see the details, I can see the exact locations, and I can see the information about the placement. So with these, it's possible to show you the visualizations of the locations where I can visualize even the in-placement transfers and other information related to geocorrelation point of view. Last but not least are activities, and this is one of the most important or very, very rich information about the data we are looking for. Again, for example, I can check all his inmate security records. So I'm interested in activities that are related to my investigated subjects, and I would like to see all of his security records where I can see he was involved in some drug case, contraband, vandalism, whatever. So I have a complex overview of what he's using, and even I can check and visualize the details of information. So I would like to see even maybe a record type or any kind of a reason why he was involved in the situation. It doesn't have to be just a record. It can be even information about, for example, the credit card that Tomasz was mentioning. So I'm interested in information about the credit card. And for this purpose, I would like to visualize the information about, information about his payments. As you can see, I have not done any kind of a deeper investigation, and just from the scratch, I can see a little different behavior of the person here just by analyzing the fact that in this time area, the person has been using credit card more often compared to other situations, which might give me some at least potential informations about change of behavior or whatever. But I would like to get deeper into the way how Argos support your information. This was just the intro. So what is important to understand that with Argos, we are able to give you information about the activities of the person, locations, and its connections. So let's take a look on how are we able to support you during, for example, your intake processes. Okay, what is happening in the give me a second, please. Yeah, what is happening in the real world behind the bars is pretty common, and especially according to intake process, that there are some square barrels between the inmates. It's happening sometimes, leading even to fights. And let's assume a situation that you have two inmates, Paul, which we are showing here, and Philip, and they are sharing the same prison cell for some time, and tension rises every day, and eventually leads to a fight between these two guys. Of course, guards are dispatched, and that fight is over, and John remains in the same cell, and Paul is relocated. And after some time, his sentence ends, and he's released from the prison. And yet, as a seasoned criminal, he's sentenced again. So what is happening is that you would like to manage a process of prisoner intake, and there is a couple of pretty simple tools which will help you to verify how it can be done. For example, Argos is giving you a very simple tool about the connections, where you will say, okay, I would like to find anything about a specific object. So let's make it bubble, our dangerous guy, and Philip, which we would like to analyze, and I would like to wonder if I can place them into the prison. What Argos is giving you is the information that it finds you all the possible connections between those two objects. And Argos told me that the shortest path that I found is a length of 2, and it's showing me that those two guys have been located at a common location. But I can increase the path, the length, and it will show me all the possible informations. Okay. What will happen if I will increase the more distant relationships? It will show me an overload of the informations, and I would need to analyze that. So for that, we have a very simple features which allows you to find the shortcut connections between those two guys. And again, this is all customizable, and trained users are able to do this by themselves, is that they can find an inmate fight involved of co-prisoners, and the system will directly show me the connection between my objects. So I can see that the distance is more, lying, or the connection is lying on a more distance path. But just within a few clicks, I was able to visualize, and I'm able to see it also in a graph. I was able to visualize my analysis to find out the details about the connections, and I can see, and again, I can open it on a graph, which I will show you later on a board, so I can visualize the relationship about how these guys are connected through any kind of a possible connections, which I can filter just using a simple tools. Okay, so that's the way how I can simply visualize all my informations, and how Argos is giving you the possibility to find out even the long distance path connections between multiple objects. Argos supports you during the intake, so it helps you to check previous direct incidents between inmates, and you don't assign Paul to the same cell or even the same facility where Philip is located, and it checks also potential problems via indirect relationships. So that's the way how we are able to do this. Another step how we can use Argos to help you with your challenges is analyzing the behavior of the persons. That means another example of is again the Paul who is calm and personality with no problems, but lately he's starting to be nervous, so you can start analyzing his behavior and patterns, and you find that he spent a lot of money. As I showed you earlier, it is only choosing the proper activities view, and in Argos you can very easily see the details of any kind of relations. So it can be something like informations about the spending the money, or you can even combine the things. You can even combine the activities on the car, activities of the persons. So let's say I would like to analyze more detailed informations about, for example, fights of this person, because you find out that this person has been involved in multiple fights. Excuse me. Okay. Another example is where you would like to analyze the situation where the prisoner is involved in a fighting, but working with this person is like discussions, and they won't give you any exact information or exact answers. What does initiate these fights? So you can see very easily what the fight is like when the fight is happening in the details. But let's say you have a suspicious that it can be caused by external influence. So in that case, it would be great if you can find out if there is some correlation between the fights and any outside communication or calls. For that purpose, you can very easily, again, check not just the fights, but you can add also visits. So you can very easily check the information about the fights and visits. Argos will give you very nice and very clear information about the overlap of those two activities. So I can analyze all the information step by step, but that would take me pretty long time. And I would like to rather focus on the look on the time where these activities overlap. Okay, so yeah, something like this would be more interesting for me. And Argos will filter for me all the relations and all the data between those I would say activities we are comparing. Imagine here you can use multiple type of a data you have, so you can compare multiple activities of the visitors, of the packages delivered, and all the other information, and put them on such a visualization layer so you can compare them. And you can very easily see here that there is a very short time location between the visiting of Janek and another fight, and also visiting of Pablo and another fight, which will give me another, from my point of view, very interesting information that I can see that after a visit that Paul has received, there was a fighting. So that will help me with my understanding of the informations, how they are related together, how the behavior of the person and how all the information that I have in my system can be linked together, and how I can visualize it, even using some kind of a time overview for better understanding of day pattern and other activities. So that's the way how we are able very easily in a simple graphic interface compare any kind of relations between multiple data. So according to the analyzing behavior, there is also need to maybe, yes, you have analyzed the behavior, you find out some suspicious activities, and now we would like to go deeper and investigate the informations. Okay, so let's say, for example, we had the possibility, or we had the question from customer that was trying to locate or find the information between two persons, where he was not able to. Yeah, sorry. The persons. He had two prisoners, and those two prisoners were communicating. The customer was not able to find out how they communicate, because they were situated in a geographically different situation, different locations, and there was no direct connections between them. Analyzing this data or analyzing the information in a separate data sources didn't help the customer. With Argos, you are able to create your own, what we call the patterns, because for analyzing and finding the data, you can simply create a description of the behaviors, informations which you are trying to find out about how the object is fitting my pattern. So, for example, in this case, which was coming from the real life request, was the fact that the customer was not able to find out the connection. How can they communicate if they are not located in the same prison? No direct connection between them. What we can create in simple to use graphic interface in Argos is that we will create a simple query where we say we have a person which has a restriction of freedom with another person, and they are both in jail, and it doesn't have to be the same jail. And I can simply rise up the pattern, and I can simply ask the system, okay, the system gives me the information that fit my pattern, but this is still very common or very wide overview, and I would like to get into the more detailed informations. So I would say, okay, let's check if they are not possible to meet at a specific time, because I know that this kind of communication was happening sometime in the last half a year. So what I'll do very easily is that I would say I would like to find out their relations that were in the last, let's say, half a year. Okay, I can again rise up the pattern, and yes, now I can get a more exact and more precise answer about my query that I'm looking for, but still doesn't tell me how are they connected. Okay, I can see something like yes, those two guys are having something in common, but those are not the guys I'm trying to find out. And I can see that these guys are meeting in a hospital. So let's say I would like to add another condition where I will simply say I'm looking for the prison facility type, which is something like hospital. Rising up the query pattern will give me a more exact answer about my objects of interest. And here I can open them on the board and I can start to analyze them. This is what I promised you, to show you the board. And I have found out that, yes, those are my two guys, which I'm trying to find out, which I'd like to investigate. So I can very easily see and discover the detailed information about them. And Argos is giving me all the information about my object. So I can check all the detailed information I have about my Joseph. So I can see he's involved in more restriction of freedom, not just this one, but even other. I can even check the details of the other person, and I can kind of start discover and expand more and more information about my objects, about their relations, about their involvement in, for example, any packages received or any security records. And I can keep discovering and try to find out what are the details of the relation. So at the beginning, I had an information about two guys who are meeting to each other, but I was not able to find out how they are communicate. Using the patterns in Argos, it gives you the opportunity to find out any kind of info between any kind of objects you are looking for, even for the intake, as which I mentioned at the beginning, where I can say, okay, I would like to find out the information about the person which has been in restriction of freedom, and I would like to place them in the same jail. So, for example, again, using a very simple visual query, I can very easily find out the information about the persons who have been involved in the same security report. Couple of clicks, and I will get very quickly the information. And I don't need to crawl through a lot of data. I can very easily check the info and start to analyze the details of to which all the persons the Pavel was involved in some kind of a security records and in any fights or any other activities. So that's the way how we are able to go through the investigation, how Argos is able to use to help you analyze the data that you have, and you don't have to analyze the content, just simply in a few clicks visually see the results. That's the way how we are able to give you the informations about understanding behavior, understanding relations, and visualize those relations in a in a easy to use graphic interface. Last but not least, if we said, okay, we would like to do some investigation, we would like to also see a couple of locations. And Argos is able to work not only with the data which are delivered in a structured form, because it's pretty easy, but we would like to make it more complex. Let's say I would like to focus on a map. My approach is from the geographical point of geo-correlation data or geo-located data, not from the person. So what I can do very simply is that I can search on a map. I can use any kind of location. I can very simply click on any location and increase the distance of the information I'm looking for geographically, and the system will give me all the informations which are related to my specific locations I have selected. Okay, but this is just a simple map search. We are able to do it even more advanced, because Argos is able to give you information about what we call geocorrelation. Okay, let's say I would like to analyze all the possible informations about my suspect of investigation, and I would like to maybe analyze information from the last year, and I would like to know all possible informations about Pavel. What will the system give me is the info that Pavel was meeting Simon White in a specific location, in a specific time, for a specific length. Okay. Again, you don't have to open 3 or 4 information systems. Argos is able to aggregate all the data together and bring it to you in a easy to use interface. And even if you would like to have more specified query, let's say they met at this location for 35 minutes and for 40 here, I would like to specify the duration. Okay, so if I increase this duration attribute, which is giving me the opportunity to say, okay, those guys were meeting at a specific time, Argos is again able to shrink you the search without any complicated queries that you have to rise up or you have to ask your IT. With this approach, Argos is able to give you very quickly information also about the locations, so you can check the tracing, you can check the relations between the objects, even using the geo location point of view on the data. Last but not least, as we are getting slowly to the end, is the feature that Tomasz has mentioned, and it is called biometrics. As I mentioned, yes, you are able to see the information about the objects even by analyzing the images. So for example, here I can see that my object of interest has been spotted in multiple images uploaded to Argos. So once you upload the data, you can see the details, and what Argos is that it has specified and it has identified the persons which he knows. It also identified a couple of persons which he doesn't know, but you can see the details of all objects identified on a person, and you will see that those 2 guys were spotted at a picture at a specific relation. How does it look like when you would like to see it in a detail? Let me show you the open the board, which I have prepared, and from the visualization point of view, Argos will give you the information that Pavel, which have connections to multiple data, have also connections to some multimedia files. One of these files, named here, creates a connection between the Pavel and other person. What does this represents is the fact that only using a picture, which is an unstructured form of a data, and then analyzing it in Argos, you are able to create a connection between your data and objects. So in your environment, if you would be able to process any kind of a data from your CCTV cameras or other sources, Argos is able to connect this data and give you the informations which you would be very hard to find out just by analyzing them manually or analyzing them in a separate system. This is what Argos brings you. Argos brings you the possibility to see the details, to see the connections, locations, and the activities of the objects. From my point of view, Tomasz,
thank you very much. No, it was really, really amazing. It's always a pleasure to see you presenting, Argus. So we have a couple of questions. So let me go through that. I utilized the time while Pavel was presenting to write down also the answers to your questions. So the first question is, what are the most common signs of organized crime in prisons? Of course, you are the expert, so I can hardly teach you what is a common sign of organized crime, but definitely what I can somehow imagine or recall based on our experience, definitely symbols like tattoos and colors and hand symbols. That's something that we can even recognize using Argos. Behavior and grouping. So if you are regarding the behavior, you are trying to be a part of some group, and you are leaning towards some leaders, spending time with them, with the group. That's something that it's definitely a sign of some organized crime. It may not be, but I doubt. Definitely economics. That means, as I was saying, forcing somebody to smuggle in something, some contraband, or forcing somebody to buy more stuff and then selling it internally. And of course, last but not least, fights and riots. That's something that is definitely talking about organized crime. But as I said, you are the experts, so I'm just trying to summarize from my mind. So the second question, when investigating activity inside the prison, what type of connection or pattern is the hardest to uncover without the proper tools? So I believe Pavel was showing you all the crazy complicated stuff that can happen, but I just listed three of them that I see pretty complex and complicated. The one that Pavel was showing, that two inmates are meeting in a place outside the prison, so where they can exchange information or contraband. One of the examples, real life one, that two inmates are having a fight because there was a common visitor. One of these inmates, it was his wife. The second one, it was his mistress. So, and they somehow find out. So this one, it's something that again you can find using some pretty complex queries. And also real life scenario is that people or inmates in two prison facilities are getting information and contraband from similar places, geographical places, or even having calls with those places, etc. So also the geo perspective can be pretty complex. Is it possible to predict a specific event based on previous facts? So definitely it is. Prediction is one of the, I would say, key use cases. It depends on your specifics within your prison facility and on your data. We cannot be providing something that is generic. And of course, there is very small chance that we can provide a prediction for escape attempts or suicide attempts, because there is not enough data. It's more of understanding of the behavior than some prediction of escape attempt. How do you ensure that AI process data is accurate and complete, and how corrections are incorporated to continuously improve the system? So AI, it's always, in Argos, it's always a recommendation. So whether we are talking about facial recognition, voice biometry, entity extraction, we are always telling you, most probably this is Pavel. And unless you really confirm, it's just telling you that most probably this is Pavel, coming from the document, coming from the face, or in an image or video, or in an audio file. So all this is something that we are providing as suggestions, as recommendation, and it's up to you to confirm and use it as granted. Till you confirm, it's not a granted information. Besides the prison context, where else can this type of service be used within the criminal world? So we are supporting police. I even put some use cases like CIT or drug trafficking, anti-narcotics department, or the intelligence, anti-terrorism or border protection. But we are serving also army, also customs, also financial intelligence unit, also any other various types of, I would say, security forces that are doing investigation within the country, like I don't know, criminal financial investigation. So it's not really financial intelligence unit that is more into AML and CTF, but more into the financial crimes. Can AI be used to aid inmates rehabilitation? Yes, we met a couple of companies that are using AI avatars to support. So you are not really spending time with inmates, but it's more of a computer-aided, AI-aided rehabilitation. We are not really into this a lot, so I'm sorry I cannot help you a lot. So Scotland Yard has problems with joining data, legal sharing. So here, what we are doing is we are using your data. So any data that you have available, you are telling us how we can use it. Sometimes it's just for some specific time, let's say case-based investigation within the police. Sometimes it's based on your level, of permission. And we have in Argos a pretty complex security measures. That means that we can allow you that you can see the information is there. I know that there is some inmate, but I cannot see his name and anything, and I need to ask for permissions. I can see that there is an inmate that is called Pavel, but I cannot see any more detail. I can see his whole detail. I can even update his detail or the information that is connected to the specific object in Argos. So there is pretty complex security system in the underlying layer of Argos that is preventing you from accessing information you are not allowed to. In the example you gave about the connection with inmate, link was a fight and dates were too far away. Yes, it's a very good and amazing investigator eye that you checked also those dates, and these dates were too far away. So for the presentation purposes, we are using dummy generated data that sometimes do not make sense at all from the values or time perspective, but it makes the use case feasible for the presentation. So thank you very much for seeing that. In the real life scenario, definitely we are using same date, same time, for the fight. So it's the same fight. But usually such events like fight, they have their own object, their own, information within the system, because 2, 3, or more people, and I mean inmates, but also prison guards are involved in such event, and we are storing this information. We are over the time, but we still do have time. So if you want to see and hear also the rest of those questions, feel free to stay on the call. It looks really good. Thank you very much. In practice, does this software operate according to the intelligence process? Yes. So we are supporting the whole intelligence cycle, but mostly we are supporting the collection, processing, analysis, and dissemination. That means we are supporting within the intelligence cycle or process where you fetch the data, you process it, you analyze, you do your findings, and you create the end result that is eventually a report, and you disseminate it within your colleagues. Is there a test environment? Yes, Pavel.
Sorry, Tomasz, I would like to add one info, which because of the time I haven't showed. In the Argos, there is also a case management support. That means we are able to implement your processes into Argos, so you don't have to adjust to the software. Software will import your internal processes together with you. We will implement your investigation steps, your internal processes, and you will have also, I call it very simply, back office process control, which will reflect your actual processes. Thank you. Thank
you very much. Thank you very much, Pavel. Is there a test environment for customers? Can information security be guaranteed? So yes. So there is an online test environment that we can easily grant you access to, and you can play with the system. And of course, in case you would like to have it tested with your data, we are free to discuss an option to do a proof of concept with your data in your premises. And that's also the answer for the last question. But now part 3, what kind of process is required to implement this software? How can it be customized to the client's needs? So we have Argos as an out-of-the-box product. That means for the prison use case, we have a ready-made product with all the business logic, and usually without any heavy customization, we can implement it, and we do it end to end. That means we start with some consultancy analysis, we do the installation, fetch data, correlate together, we do the testing, training, handover, and ongoing support. That's something that is the usual drill that we do in Cogniware with Argos. But of course, we can be discussing also some customizations, because some customers, they do want and they do need some customizations on top of Argos. So we are, again, ready to discuss such. Is it completely running on-premise? Yes, it is. Nothing needs to be connected to cloud. No internet access it's needed. Any public reference? Yes, we do have in Europe, in Slovak Republic, is the one and only that is public, unfortunately. Does it also support Arabic? Yes. Argos supports as input data any type of language, so we are completely language independent. And regarding the user interface, Czech, Slovak, Arabic, I think Malayan, and additional like 2, 3, 4 languages are supported. Anyway, localization to another language that we are not supporting is a matter of translating, I think, like 1,500 lines. So I'm not saying I can do that on my own till tomorrow, but definitely it is something that we can do. We can do pretty easily as a part of the project. So let me check whether we have any other. Do you plan to provide a real-time monitoring version, including an alarm management system? Okay, so that's so far the last question that I see here. So real-time monitoring, it's not really the use case of Argos. We are in Argos, we are saying that we are so-called near real-time system. And let me tell you why. We are usually, it's calling a fusion. So we are fusing data from different data sources. And in order to do such, we need some time, to fetch the data, to store it, to correlate it with the other data sources, databases, CCTV, whatever. And then on top of that, we are running, some patterns, queries, monitoring, alerts, whatever you call it. And that's why we are not real time, we are near real time. So even with these crazy queries that Pavel was showing you, the moment we get the information, for example, about some inmates having some planned travel to a court, we can automatically calculate all the results. Like, yes, in the future, Thomas and Pavel will be meeting and at some place. So we can even go in the future if you have the information about planned transfers and relocations and everything. We can do near real time based on the data flow from the source systems, and we can do also reactive, like forensic investigation based on the data that we continuously collect from your data sources. So I hope I answered your question. So really, we are not an alarm management system. Even that some use cases, like for example with facial recognition, we did in some cases as real time. But really, in order to do proper job for you, and that is fusing data from multiple data sources, from multiple domains to create the big picture, the understanding, it is something that it takes time. It cannot be really real time. So yeah, I think that's the last question that I can see here. I hope I answered all of them. Let me just quickly check. Yes. I believe we answered all the questions. So I would like to thank you all for joining and attending this call. Definitely, I would like to thank my dear colleague Pavel, for the live demonstration. We will be sharing the recording with you shortly. And of course, you have our contact details. So in case you have any other question, inquiry, or you would like to see more complex, more deep dive demo of Argos, we are here for you. But of course, try to plan like at least 1 hour for the live demonstration, because Pavel loves to go into deep detail with Argos. So it's definitely not a 20 minutes job. Again, thank you very much. I wish you a pleasant day, and see you soon. Bye.